Right, welcome back to my planetary energetic series. Today we are going to talk about Mars. And Mars is one of those planets, is within the realm of the energy that people aren't always, extra receptive of. But the energy is always within us. It is always around us. It is flowing through the cosmos, outside the cosmos, within. So we definitely are going to discuss the energy of the luminary Mars. And I also want to make sure that within this series, as we are discussing the planetary energetics, my goal is by the end of it that you will kind of see that the energetics of the planets, the energetics of everything above is also within you in a very real way. Within this world, there are, the world around us is simply a projection of what is within. And in a lot of ancient astrological studies, when we study the planets, we are also studying ourselves. We are studying our chakras. And so it's just really important that we make those connections. Now, for Mars, Mars is the red planet. Right off the bat, you know Mars and you see the color red. And with the color red, usually you're thinking about fire, you're thinking about passion, action, will, even purpose. And Mars does compromise all of those things within its energetic being. Mars is the fiery archetypal energetic luminary, and it is named after the Roman war god Mars. Now, previously when I did Saturn, we also talked about the Roman god Saturn as well. I like to make the correlation with the gods from the different pantheons, because it's very easy to learn the kind of the personalities of these planets when you're studying the gods that they represent, or the gods that are represented by the planets, however you want to interchange that. So on the Roman side, you have Mars, and of course on the Greek side, you have Ares, the god of war. Now, one thing about Mars, usually when people hear Mars, it's always war. You're thinking about fighting. If there's a Mars transit, people are, oh, it's going to be chaos in the streets. We're all into it. And Mars does bring about that energy. But at the essence of that archetype, that personality of Mars is action. So Mars is going to make you move. And because Mars is the mover, sometimes that movement, sometimes confrontation happens in there as well, because of the passionate movement that Mars energizes us to take on. When you're sitting still, Mars makes you get the fuck up. And wherever Mars is placed in your natal chart, it can be a very passionate place for you. It can be somewhere where you're loud, you're proud. It can be somewhere where you're supported. Mars can be a representation of aggressive support within your natal chart as well. So depending on that placement, it can be action, ferocity, movement, aggression, and also desire. When you have questions about your passions of this life, you can check in with your Mars aspects, and that is within your Mars aspects within your natal charts. If you want to know what part of your life you're more protective over, Mars can also be an indication of that. As Mars, that energy is very protective in the way of doing something. Mars is going to protect you with an action, a response. Mars is often the energy of response. Now, we know that Mars has the passion, action, pursuit, that fire element energy within it. In many ways, it can show us where we're running full speed ahead, maybe even where we could slow down a bit too. It can show us where we may be easily susceptible to anger, okay? And it can point out areas where we can just generally be more soft. The energy that resides in Mars is sometimes thought about as a sex drive type of energy. And that is true. It is within the realm of action too. So fire, sex, war, crime within our body system. So when we look at these planets, right, we're looking at the solar system. Something that's very interesting is that when you look at your solar system and you look at our chakra systems, they have a corresponding energy signature to them both. So with Mars, what's interesting is in some teachings you will see that Mars is both represented in the root chakra and also the sacral chakra. Within that root chakra, you will find that Saturn and Mars are represented. And I feel like with Mars being there, it is kind of telling us that Mars is the energy, right? Because you have Saturn as well. And of course, Saturn is that stability. But to have stability, you have to take intentional action. To build a foundation, you have to do work. So with Saturn and Mars being kind of the representative of the root chakra, it is like balance, action equals stability. And I did write that. Balance, action equals stability. An action beginning from a grounded state. All right? An action that begins from a grounded state is going to be something that is going to be prosperous within the long run, which is, kind of Saturn. You think about Saturn, you think about time. So with the energetics of Mars and Saturn being within the root chakra, it's very representative of starting with a solid foundation of solidity, strength, confidence, and determination. Beginning an action from a grounded space. It reminds you, and it's like a universal reminder when you are studying where the energy of Mars is within your body, which is what that is, which is what we would be studying in the chakra astrology. So when we're studying not only the energetics of Mars, but where that energy is within us, it tells us that we must take, no blind actions. And with every action, with any action that you take, it's going to look better, it's going to feel better, it's going to yield a longevity of abundance. That's what I want to say. It feels like it's going to yield a longevity of abundance when you start with an action that is from a place of stability. And that's me reading what that definition of, or what it means for the energy of Mars to be within my root chakra. Now, Mars is also associated with the solar plexus, all right? The will, the worth. And our own personal power. All right. This is the third chakra, of course. And this, within this place, you are helped to or aided in taking action, having confidence, self-discipline, ambition, leadership. All of these things also fall within the realm of Mars, of that Mars energetic signature. So these, within that sacral and within the root chakra, you have that Mars energy being represented. And anytime there is a Mars transit, so the thing about studying planetary energetics, and when you think about, okay, how do I apply this? When we're moving through the different transits, when we are, and let's say you want to just work with Mars energy, period. So you will work with that energy. You will work with embodying that energy within your root and your sacral chakra, focusing on these areas to increase or expand or level up in any of these energies that you feel like you need to level up in, focusing on those areas during a Mars transit via your own, whether it's a world transit, whether it's a big transit, or whether it's your own personal transit. That's how you apply this language and this study of planetary energetics. Because the thing about it is you are the solar system. As we go through this, and if each planet is represented by a chakra, all right, that means that the cosmos are represented within you. That means from the root to the crown, there is a planetary, a luminary representation of that energy, not only above in the sky where I can see, but inside of me. So the study of the planets, the energy, is not just the study of space. It's the study of you. Let's see. What else do I want to say about Mars? What else do I want to say about Mars? I did say, again, act from solid ground. And I feel like that's the message of where the Mars energy resides in our bodies, right? It's telling us to act from solid ground. Life wants me to act, but with intentional, patient action. And I feel like that because Saturn and Mars are represented within the root chakra. Saturn is patient, Mars is action. And it is telling us, because everything around us is a reflection. You know, our projecting, it feels like always that we are projecting every answer that we need to know outside of us so we can get the clues and get it in. So with the Saturn and Mars being there, it's telling us that life wants you to take action, okay? But it wants you to know that you can be patient with every action that you take. You can be intentional with that, and the most thought out action is going to be the most balanced one. And the unbalanced Mars energy can look like fear and insecurity and instability. This placement within our bodies, the Mars energy within our chakra system, also introduces a presence. And when you... Here's the thing about when you think about the anger part of the Mars archetype, right? There's always a way to turn over that, or to kind of, flip it to the dual other side version of it. Because with presence, you can turn anger into discipline. And this is all, the astrological transits happen within the world. And the outside world is just a reflection of the spark of life created within us. The God body, the planetary bodies, the cosmos, all of it is a reflection of what is happening within us. And the planetary forces and the chakras, they mirror each other. And particularly the visible planetary forces and the chakras mirror each other. So it's very interesting to connect the luminary outside with the space inside. So as we continue to study planetary energetics, in our next series, I think I may do move to Venus and the moon, do them both together. And those two are going to be representative of the heart chakra, of course. So make sure that you catch me make sure that you catch me next time for that video. If you did like this energetic lesson on Mars, please like and subscribe. You can comment as well. And, until then, I'm Kayla. I am your esoteric teacher liaison. And I will be back with more from this planetary energetic series. And I love y'all.